of Chairman Nunes's behavior, but let's say...
Of course you would. You're a Democrat.
Well, he's also the chairman, and he's in charge of setting the tone. And this week, he built a physical wall separating the staffers from the two sides. So he's
Did Democrats fight that?
He's not, absolutely. He is not setting a tone of bipartisanship. But I'll give you this. The House Intelligence Committee is not functioning in the way it should. The Senate Intelligence Committee, Richard Burr and Mark Warner, Republican and Democrat, have actually managed to work together in the kind of bipartisan manner that they should be.
But you've also had those on the left file a complaint against with the House Ethics Committee against Chairman Nunes, and it found out that he did not abuse classified information. He did not handle it incorrectly, which the allegation likely came from the left.
So keep things equal, fair. Don't spy on us unless you know that you're doing it for the right reasons, and keep us safe. We'll be right back. Stay put. With the midterm elections fast approaching, President Trump will reportedly look to rally his base with more cultural issues, perhaps like NFL players kneeling during the national anthem. Is that a good way to get Republicans to the polls? Could it backfire? And maybe, I don't know, incentivize Democrats to go to the polls. We'll talk about it.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
The time to invest in silver is now. Silver prices are already undervalued. With mine production expected to fall, silver is poised to skyrocket in the coming years. Are you ready to take advantage of this opportunity? Silver is a natural hedge against inflation and can help counteract painful market corrections. The potential to profit from silver in both good times and bad makes it a superior investment to own both inside and outside of an IRA. To learn how you can protect your financial future with silver, call Augusta Precious Metals today and request your free guide, 6 Secrets of Silver Investing, and discover how you can get up to $2,000 in silver free. Act now, and you'll also receive Augusta's Guide to Silver IRAs. Call 866-400-3200 today to receive your free guides from Augusta Precious Metals, where gold and silver have been the family business for more than 40 years. Call Augusta now.
Mike and I went on our honeymoon to Maui, and it was amazing. We were like, let's move here. So we bought a timeshare there. In 2015, we were expecting our firstborn child, and it became a lot of work just to get out of the house, let alone to Maui.
Finally, one of your friends actually told us about Timeshare Exit Team, and they were great.
Time changes everything. If your timeshare no longer fits your life, call Timeshare Exit Team today or go to timeshareexitteam.com.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-650-4157.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-650-4157. Or visit SoClean.com today.
One certainty in life is that it changes, and so does your vision, which is why VSP offers individual vision plans, coverage you can buy on your own. Because whether you're self-employed, in between jobs, or at a job that doesn't offer vision coverage.
How will that work? Plus, the Senate starts debating in
person and on Twitter to get Republicans excited about voting in November. We're back now with Power Panel, Lisa Booth and Marie Harf. This works.
specifically use him in the areas where he is going to be beneficial for Republicans there. Even looking ahead at the Senate and some of these red states where Democrats are seeking re-election, he could be beneficial for those Republican candidates running there. Also, we've seen with his rising approval ratings, also we've seen the tightening in the generic ballot from where it was 15-point advantage for Democrats.
You know what, Marie?
It's about
let's toggle there just real quickly, because when you look at the and I'm looking at Real Clear Politics averages more than just an individual, but they have come out of double-digit gains for a generic ballot wins for Democrats over Republicans, and now you're in the single digits. You've got tax cuts, jobs creation, you've got a lot of stuff going on. It's about messaging.
In large part, it is. And look, there's a lot of time between now and November. It will go very fast. But there's a lot
for
of
you
time.
guys, because the Republicans are doing it with policy.
But if you, well, yes and no. A lot of these Republicans are going to have to return home for re-election. They didn't fix Obamacare. They just exploded the deficit, which they ran on getting under control. They just exploded the deficit. They focused on these.
They had help, though, from Democrats.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. If you're the ones in charge, you have to own it.
But with all respect, the left as messengers about the deficit is a complete joke, and that's not going to resonate with voters. Regarding Obamacare, I think Republicans can go and say that we repealed the individual mandate, which does go a long way there. They obviously did not keep their promise of repealing and replacing Obamacare, so I will certainly give you that. But they can at least say they repealed the individual mandate.
Which cultural issues are next that you think President Trump can look at and say, yeah, that works?
I just hope that he stays behind as he has in saying that he's the law enforcement candidate, staying behind our police officers. We've seen a string of police deaths, which is just completely inexcusable and dangerous, and something that we need to be paying attention to as a country. I hope he continues to stand behind our military and just continues to talk about.
And again, those aren't just base issues; those are bigger issues.
Right.
Real quick, last word.
Immigration debate is going to be a key part of this midterm election, and how
I tell you what, if
come out
Republicans get a deal, it's going to be tough for Democrats.
We'll see what that deal looks like. We will
actually.
Amnesty.
We'll see it this week. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
right back.
With 16 years in cybersecurity, I can tell you that criminals are scouring the dark web, trying to steal your identity and your personal information.
That's why Experian monitors the dark web globally and alerts you to suspicious activity, so you can act before a criminal can. Go to Experian.com/protect now to see if your personal information is on the dark web with a free one-time dark web scan.
Don't let them steal your identity on the dark web. Protect yourself with a company you can trust.
At Safe Flight Auto Glass, we know that when you're spending time with the grandkids, every minute counts. And you don't have time for a cracked windshield. That's why at Safe Flight, we'll show you exactly when we'll be there with a replacement you can trust.
Well done, sir. Looks great. Thanks for choosing Safe Flight. Thank you.
Bye. Saving you time so you can keep saving the world.
Ways to lose stubborn belly fat. The roasted core wrap. 2, 1. Not cool. Freezing away fat cells with Cool Sculpting, now that's cool. Cool Sculpting safely freezes and removes fat cells with little or no downtime and no surgery. Results and patient experience may vary. Some rare side effects include temporary numbness, discomfort, and swelling. Ask your doctor if Cool Sculpting is right for you and visit CoolSculpting.com today for your chance to win a free treatment.
Get fast-acting nasal relief that works in seconds and lasts for up to 12 hours with Zicam Extreme Congestion Relief and Zicam Intense Sinus Relief for colds and allergies. Get your better back with Zicam nasal sprays.
Looking for a hotel that fits your budget? TripAdvisor now searches over 200 sites to find you the hotel you want at the lowest price. Grazie, Gino. Find a price that fits. TripAdvisor.
Lose weight and save big with Nutrisystem's President's Day sale. For a limited time, save $100 on every program, including new for 2018. Turbo 13, our best program ever. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. Money back guaranteed.
Your meetings? Not with Nutrisystem.
Act now. This is a limited time offer. Save $100 during Nutrisystem's President's Day sale.
Go online or call 877-953-THIN right now and save $100 on every Nutrisystem program.
Hi, I'm Ty Young.
What if there was an investment strategy where your money was completely protected against market losses? You would go up with the stock market, your gains lock in, and when the market goes down, you don't lose anything. Literally, you go up with your money, never down, forwards and never backwards. What if that investment strategy actually existed? Good news, it does. Get your investor's kit and I'll personally explain on the DVD how it works. You decide if it's right for you.
Get your investor's kit. Call 800-557-7379 or tyjyoung.net.
We brought some fresh perspectives today on immigration and DACA from our guests, and we do so as often as we can, but today's particularly important. We're about to see an open-ended discussion, never before, on immigration and the Dreamers, starting later this afternoon. I'm Harris. Here's Dana.
A Fox News alert, the White House unveiling President Trump's $4 trillion budget plan this morning. Hello, everyone. I'm Dana Perino, and this is the Daily Briefing. The president's proposed budget includes $18 billion to build a southern border wall, as well as $1.5 trillion in infrastructure spending over the next decade.
This morning, I submitted legislative principles to Congress that will spur the biggest and boldest infrastructure investment in American history. We're going to have a lot of public-private, and that way it gets done on time, on budget. It will speed the permit approval process from 10 years to 2 years and maybe even to 1 year.
Chief White House correspondent John Roberts is standing by. John.
State governors and other local officials today saying that the federal government stands by and ready to be a partner in any and all infrastructure projects. Listen here.
It will create thousands and thousands of jobs and increase training for our great American workers. And it returns power to the state and local governments who know best what their people need. Washington will no longer be a roadblock to progress. Washington will now be your partner.
But the president also warning states today that while the federal government will work hand in hand with them, states have to do their part as well. Listen here.
We give you money and you can't get your approvals. I guess we're going to have to take that money back or you're not going to build. And some of you are sitting around the table that I know, some of the governors, you're going to get those permits, I have no doubt. Others, I see a couple sitting around the table. I don't think they're going to get their permits so fast. But you're going to have to get it, otherwise you're not going to be able to build, because we can't give you money and you're going to take 15 years to get a permit.
Yeah, so the president laying down a marker there. He knows how to do it. He expects the states to do it as well. The Trump budget proposal, there's an E missing there. We're going to spend $10 billion to buy an E, but let's put that back up on the screen so that you can follow along anyways. Yeah, they're trying to fix the spelling. $300 billion extra for the military over the next 2 years. That was agreed to in the budget proposal that went through Congress last week. $23 billion in border security to hire an additional 2,750 Border Patrol agents, $18 billion for the wall as well, $13 billion for opioid treatment, and this budget will cut spending on social programs, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and other programs by $3 11:30 this morning, the Office of Management and Budget will unveil the 2018-2019 budget, which includes in it that massive infrastructure program. The president tweeting about that this morning, saying, quote, "This will be a big week for infrastructure. After so stupidly spending $7 trillion in the Middle East, it is now time to start investing in our country." I'll give you the broad brushstrokes of the infrastructure program. It's $1.5 trillion in total. $200 billion of that will be money from the federal government, seed money, loan money. The White House pointing to the fact that programs like the transportation infrastructure was unaware of the allegation that Porter punched his first wife, who you see there, giving her a black eye, until those photos came out last Wednesday. Even though until those Colby photos Holden came out last Wednesday, that she gave those photos even to the though FBI Colby Holden more than a year Fox ago, News that she gave as those recently photos as to Saturday, the FBI, the president more appeared than to be a year defending ago, Porter, as reminding recently as reporters Saturday, on the president Friday, appeared to be Porter defending claimed he was Porter, innocent, reminding and tweeting on reporters Saturday, on Friday, people's lives are being shattered and destroyed by mere allegations. People's lives are being shattered and destroyed by mere allegations. Some are true and some are falsely accused, and some are new. There is no recovery for someone falsely accused. Is there no such thing any longer? Life and career are gone. Process. The FBI. Is there no such thing any longer as due process? The officials say the information that the FBI had was never passed to the White House because the FBI finished the clearance process. They were continuing to investigate. Finished the clearance process. They were continuing to investigate.
But so, John, are they saying that Rob Porter misled the chief of staff or Don McGahn, the White House lawyer? Misled
I guess you could. They didn't use that specific word to me, but you could read into it. They didn't use that specific word to me, but said that read into it that ex-wives were talking about him to the FBI. That his ex-wives were talking about him to the FBI. You could probably make that assumption. Going to amount to much.
Terrible. All right, John. Thank you.
You could probably make that assumption that he misled someone.
Turning back to the infrastructure plan, let's bring in the vice chairman of the House Budget Committee and a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Republican and a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Republican Congressman Todd Rokita of Indiana. Couldn't have a better guest. Can you help me understand the process? Because the Congress just passed a 2-year. Can you help me understand the process? Because the Congress and now you have this budget. There's no infrastructure money in that and now you have this budget. There's no infrastructure money in that spending deal. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, but that's okay. This is the budget, the president's budget request, and I love the job that he's doing. He's off to a great start, and I love your bumper from the last segment where he said, well, you know, if you're a state that's going to hold things up for environmental reasons and this and that, you know, we're just going to take our money back. It shouldn't take 15 years. You know, it's probably shocking to a lot of your viewers, Dana, that he wants to get it down to 2. You know, it should be even quicker than that.
No, I think it is shocking to some people that they don't realize that it can often take 10 years to get approval. And so I do think that would be an amazing achievement if you can actually streamline those approvals and keep the standards what they are, but get them down to 2 years. That would certainly provide for a lot of progress.
Right. So, I mean, and back to your question, I mean, the fact of the matter is we do have a 2-year spending deal. Mm-hmm. Now he's making a request on top of that. We can still, you know, as this appropriations process now goes through for this spending deal, we can still maneuver the $200 billion around to have that seed money. I think it's a great plan. $200 billion from the government to seed things, hopefully not new or printed money, but reprioritizing things. And that's what this presidential budget request is about. It's about making priorities. And he's saying, look, I think infrastructure should be a priority. I want $200 billion spent on that, and that will create another $1.3 trillion in investment, so more than the investment that he even promised in the beginning. So I think this is a great way to use some public money to seed what is public and private investment.
Yeah, I think you'll probably see some pushback from Democrats saying that the $200 billion is not going to go very far, and that some states feel like that the president is shifting the burden back to them, but that will be a fight for another day. Wanted to ask you about just the overall part of the budget, because some conservatives are quite antsy about the high numbers. Take a listen to something that I think you'll be familiar with from 2015.
What's a lot easier to do is to never balance. And this chart shows that. The president's budget never balances ever. Of course, Mr. Chairman, you know that you can't start paying down the $18 trillion of debt that we have with another $100 trillion on the way until you first come to balance. We do that in a responsible, honest way. We don't try to do it in a year. We do it in a responsible, logical 10-year window.
So I was following all of that. Of course, that was in the Obama administration. This budget that the president's putting forward also doesn't balance. How have the economics changed your viewpoint on supporting this type of budget?
Well, hey, I think that's a great segment. It's a great question. And here's the big difference. What the president's budget request is doing here is going after the real drivers of our debt, and that's the mandatory spending. And he's doing it in a very humane way. The Obama budget that I was talking about before never touched Medicare, TANF, SNAP, Medicaid, TANF, SNAP, other welfare programs. This one does $1.7 to $3 trillion worth in the first 10 years alone, and that's a trade I'll take every day. See, that's what's driving our debt. So if you, and all he's saying is, hey, let's have a work requirement. So if you're an able-bodied person, before you apply for this public assistance, Dana, you should have a job or be in training for a job. I think Americans, and certainly Hoosiers, find that a very reasonable thing. It motivates you to have work, which is the basis for earning your success and earning your happiness.
And certainly
and doesn't make you dependent on these programs. If we did that simple thing, we'd save, what the president's saying, $3 trillion. Obama would never do that. He would never have that kind of leadership, and that's why the president's right here.
Certainly work requirements were something that your previous governor, Vice President Pence, cared a lot about too. All right, Todd Rokita, thank you so much. Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah, bye-bye.
The White House revealing a new approach to dealing with North Korea after diplomatic efforts at the Olympics between the sister of North Korea's dictator and South Korea. The administration also insisting on a border wall as the president unveils his budget plan and the Senate begins a rare and unpredictable debate on immigration reform.
Everything in the president's framework is laid out in this bill, and it's not just a lasting solution for DACA. It is the things you mentioned. You have to build a wall, and the secret is walls work.
Mike and I are both veterans, both served in the Navy. I do outrank my husband, not just being in the military, but at home.
She thinks she's the boss. She only had me by 1 grade. We bought our first home together in 2010.
His family had used another insurance product, but I was like, I've had USAA for a while. Why don't we call and check the rates?
It was an instant savings, and I should have changed a long time ago.
There's no point in looking elsewhere, really. We're the Tennies, and we're USAA members for life.
USAA. Get your insurance quote today.
All right, I brought in high protein to help get us moving and help you feel more strength and energy in just 2 weeks. I'll take that.
Ensure high protein with 16 grams of protein and 4 grams of sugar. Ensure, always be you.
Mom and Dad got a new car. It's not theirs, it's mine. Mine. And it always will be forever and ever.
The new RX 350L with 3 rows for 7 passengers. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
If your moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's symptoms are holding you back, and your current treatment hasn't worked well enough, it may be time for a change. Ask your doctor about Entyvio, the only biologic developed and approved just for UC and Crohn's. Entyvio works at the site of inflammation in the GI tract and is clinically proven to help many patients achieve both symptom relief and remission. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. PML, a rare, serious, potentially fatal brain infection caused by a virus, may be possible. This condition has not been reported with Entyvio. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, experience frequent infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Liver problems can occur with Entyvio. If your UC or Crohn's treatment isn't working for you, ask your gastroenterologist about Entyvio. Entyvio, relief and remission within reach.
The time to invest in silver is now. Silver prices are already undervalued. With mine production expected to fall, silver is poised to skyrocket in the coming years. Are you ready to take advantage of this opportunity? Silver is a natural hedge against inflation and can help counteract painful market corrections. The potential to profit from silver in both good times and bad makes it a superior investment to own both inside and outside of an IRA. To learn how you can protect your financial future with silver, call Augusta Precious Metals today and request your free guide, 6 Secrets of Silver Investing, and discover how you can get up to $2,000 in silver free. Act now, and you'll also receive Augusta's Guide to Silver IRAs. Call 866-400-3200 today to receive your free guides from Augusta Precious Metals, where gold and silver have been the family business for more than 40 years. Call Augusta now.
Fox News Channel on Sirius XM. Your favorite shows on Channel 114. Plus, every story, every 15 minutes. Fox News headlines 24/7 at Channel 115.
Fox News alert. Donald Trump Jr.'s wife has been taken to the hospital after opening a letter with white powder inside. The New York City police say the letter was addressed to the president's son at an apartment building here in Manhattan and opened opened by Vanessa Trump, the president's daughter-in-law. 2 other people also going to the hospital. Officials say the powder has been tested and is deemed non-hazardous, and everyone appears to be okay, but the Secret Service is investigating. Israel shooting down an Iranian drone over Israeli territory as leaders in Jerusalem vow to press ahead with military operations against Iranian-backed forces in Syria. Meanwhile, Israel confirms losing an advanced fighter jet to enemy fire for the first time in 36 years. David Lee Miller is live in our Middle East Bureau. David Lee.
Dana, as you point out, not since the first Lebanon war has an Israeli aircraft been shot down. The American-made F-16 in this case was on an air raid over Syria on Saturday when it was struck by debris from anti-aircraft fire. The aircraft crashed on the Israel side of the border. The 2-man crew ejected. The fighter jet was on a mission to destroy an Iranian mobile drone launcher in Palmyra, Syria. Only hours earlier, Israel said an Iranian drone crossed into its airspace. Israel released videos showing what it says is the drone being shot out of the sky by one of its Apache helicopters. Israel then retaliated. In addition to going after the drone launch site, other military facilities operated by Syria and its Iranian ally were targeted. On Sunday, the day following the incident, Iran, in a show of strength, celebrated the 39th anniversary of the founding of the Islamic Republic. The regime showed off military hardware, including a missile that could target Israel as well as reach U.S. bases in the Middle East. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, meanwhile, said that the Israel attack dealt a severe blow to both Iran and Syria. And while the tension has now de-escalated, there is concern here that another conflict with Iran is likely. The incident this weekend, though, marked the first time that there was actually an engagement militarily between Israel and Iran rather than through proxies. The U.S. State Department has issued a statement saying that it is condemning what it is calling Iran's malign activities, and it reaffirmed Israel's right to defend itself. Meanwhile, the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, is in the region during a 5-state visit. But despite the rhetoric coming from Washington, as of now, there are no plans during this visit to the region to visit the Jewish state. Dana?
All right. David Lee Miller, thank you. Senator Bob Corker responding to calls from supporters to put off retirement and run for another term. So is he having a change of heart? His answer still ahead. Plus, the Senate is set to take up immigration less than an hour from now. But is Mitch McConnell taking a gamble by allowing open debate on the floor? Our panel offers their takes next.
This program is brought to you by Lear Capital.
What if overvalued stocks crash again? What would that mean to your retirement?
I believe I'll probably be working till past retirement. If we have another correction like we did, it could be a pretty ugly situation.
We don't know where the bubble's going to be. There's so much uncertainty in the market.
It's scary and volatile. The truth is, our country's debt and financial bubbles goes much deeper than any politician can solve. But for the smart investor, there are still options.
If you're concerned about our U.S. debt and financial bubbles, call today for a free copy of financial expert Chris Martinson's exclusive report, The Mother of All Bubbles 2018. See why concerned investors are turning to precious metals for protection and growth. The report is free with no obligation, so call now and ask how you can also qualify for up to a $2,000 bonus when you roll over a portion of your IRA or 401k into a Lear Capital Precious Metals IRA. Call 1-800-914-3030. 1-800-914-3030.
Gas, bloating, constipation, and diarrhea can start in the colon and may be signs of an imbalance of good bacteria. Only Philips Colon Health has this unique combination of probiotics. It provides 4-in-1 symptom defense. It's your daily probiotic.
Not having a good breakfast can make you feel like your day never started. Get going with Carnation Breakfast Essentials High Protein Drink. It has 21 vitamins and minerals with 15 grams of protein to help you be your best. Try our high protein drink.
A literal fork in the road. If I go this way, I could pancake some pancakes, but if I go that way, I could omelette some omelettes. Do I pancake? Or do I omelette? Hey!
go to IHOP. They have all kind of omelets that come with pancakes.
Where is this IHOP?
It's right there. Don't leave that horse.
IHOP's omelets come with pancakes.
I'm all about my bed.
This mattress is dangerously comfortable.
When I get in, I literally say, ah.
America loves the Leesa mattress. We have more 5-star customer reviews than any other mattress of its kind.
This bed hugs my body.
I'm now a morning person.
Hello, bed of my dreams.
Discover how Leesa's innovative design provides an extraordinary sleep experience. Then place your order. We'll ship your Leesa mattress right to your door so you can enjoy a risk-free trial at home.
I love my Leesa.
Today is gonna be great.
Sleep on it for up to 100 nights and love it, or you'll get a full refund. Returns are free and easy. Order now and get $125 off, plus a free pillow worth $75, and free shipping too. Go to buyleesa.com today.
You need this bed.
On this midterm Monday, we turn the spotlight on Senator Bob Corker. The Tennessee Republican reportedly says he is not changing his mind about retiring at the end of his term, though some colleagues have approached Corker about running for re-election. A senior advisor confirms the senator stands by his decision, saying, "It is true that Senator Corker has been encouraged by people across Tennessee and in the Senate to reconsider his decision, but at this point, nothing has changed." As you may know, Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn is running to replace Corker in the Senate this November. Immigration front and center on Capitol Hill, the Senate kicking off a rare open debate this afternoon as the White House floats an offer to protect the current level of legal immigration. Alex Conant is a former communications director for Senator Marco Rubio and a partner at Firehouse Strategies. So, Alex, you know a lot about Senate procedure. How unusual is this?
It's very unusual. Rarely does a bill come to the floor where really nobody knows what the final outcome is going to be. I think every member, every senator who has ideas about immigration reform is going to be able to offer their amendments, and then hopefully we can come to something. We can get around something that can get a strong 60+ votes needed to pass the Senate and go over to the House.
When it comes to amendments, do they need 60 as well?
They do need 60 votes. Look, basically to pass anything through this Senate, you're going to need 60 votes, and that is especially true on immigration reform. And frankly, I think you want any piece of immigration reform to have strong bipartisan support. That's the only chance it's going to have to get through the House and to the president's desk.
So the Democrats have really dug in their heels, and they want to fight the president on this. But just from communicator to communicator, my former life, curious, why don't the Democrats just accept victory and say, look what we pushed President Trump into doing. He's offering all of these things for the Dreamers, a new idea today on the level of legal immigration. Why not just declare victory?
I think that's a great point, and they should. Look, they have gotten major concessions from this president. This president has agreed to give a pathway to citizenship to 1.8 illegal immigrants, the Dreamers that are currently in the country. That's unprecedented for this president to do. Similarly, he's now open to making legal reforms while reportedly keeping the 1 million immigrants that currently come to the country, keeping those levels consistent moving forward. So those are big concessions. I think the Democrats should say thank you for that, and then we should focus on passing a very limited bill that addresses those issues.
Well, we'll see what happens. Of course, there is still going to be opposition from both sides. This one coming from Michael Needham over at the Heritage Foundation saying, we're always going to call true north, and this is an amnesty bill. Amnesty is the wrong way to go, and we're not going to flinch off that. We're also recognizing that the fact of the matter is the president, and it seems like the political center of gravity in the Congress, is to do some sort of limited amnesty for the Dreamers. And I think in that context, in terms of getting a victory, chain migration is just a common sense one. We don't want to be a cheap date, but we want to get to yes. Do you think that the conservatives will be as agitated against this bill as they had been in the past?
I'm sure there will be some, including my friend Mike over at Heritage Action, who opposed the 2013 bill. I have no doubt that they would oppose any sort of compromise this time. But look, President Trump has an opportunity to do something that no president since Reagan has done, which is pass real, meaningful immigration reform that deals with illegal immigrants in the country and strengthens our legal immigration system and addresses border security. That is possible. That's what the Senate is going to begin debating this week. It's going to take compromise. And no, not everybody is going to be happy with the final result. I'm sure there are Democrats that are not going to like some of the concessions that they have to make on border security and the like. And then there's going to be some conservatives that don't like that you're giving legal status or even a pathway to citizenship to illegal immigrants. But that's the essence of a compromise. It's a great possible accomplishment for this president.
Okay, so let me ask you then. So I agree that policy-wise, if you get to something that 60 senators can vote on, it passes the House, the president signs it, that's great. What about the politics of it? Because I do think that there are some senators from both sides, or maybe even House members, who think they should go into the midterm election with the hand that they have right now and not try to do immigration.
Well, I think there's two issues here. One is that the president said that he's going to repeal DACA, and so you're going to have hundreds of thousands of young illegal immigrants losing their legal status in coming weeks and facing deportation. I don't think anybody wants to see young valedictorians arrested and deported back to countries that they don't even remember being born in. So A, we have to do something to address the situation of the Dreamers. And B, having a broken legal immigration system is just bad for the country. I think this is a unique opportunity to deliver on the president's promises to strengthen the border, to strengthen our legal immigration system, and permanently deal with the Dreamers that are here in the country that don't have a permanent situation.
Right. Well, and if it passes, then everyone just declares victory, and then they can go on to do the midterm.
Well, that's right. I mean, look, I think it's another deliverable for voters. It's another promise kept for this president.
It's just frankly just time to get it done, I think.
Exactly.
All right, Alex Conan, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, Dana.
President Trump releases his 2019 budget, unveiling his long-awaited infrastructure plan, and the federal government not the only one pitching in when it comes to funding.
I think what we're giving is states and local communities the opportunity to leverage federal dollars to invest in the projects that the federal government has not been able to do for years.
Dad, this is a lot of work. It might take us the entire weekend.
You think this is rough? Try building one of the most massive wooden ships in history without modern tools.
Go ahead. Think bigger.
Lose weight and save big with Nutrisystem's President's Day sale. For a limited time, save $100 on every program, including new for 2018. Turbo 13, our best program ever. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. Money back guaranteed.
I'm Marie, and I lost 50 pounds with Nutrisystem.
I'm Chris, and I lost 120 pounds on Nutrisystem.
I am so much healthier now.
Order your 28-day program right now, and we'll rush you Turbo 13 with our new Turbo Takeoff Week with new foods. Plus a week of delicious probiotic turbo shakes, all new NutriCurve bars, and metabolism boosters free. Specially designed to rev your metabolism, help shrink your belly, and jumpstart your weight loss. Plus, FedEx shipping is free.
Count, measure, meetings, not with Nutrisystem.
Act now. This is a limited time offer. Save $100 during Nutrisystem's President's Day sale.
Go online or call 877-953-THIN right now and save $100 on every Nutrisystem program.
Hi, I'm Barry Sloan with NewTek, your business solutions company. Does your business need money? Whether you need $10,000 or $10 million, you can count on NewTek, the nation's largest non-bank government-guaranteed lender. NewTek can help your business expand and grow. With a simple phone interview, we can pre-qualify you in just 48 hours. And with rates as low as 6%, you can see why so many businesses turn to NewTek. To see how easy getting a loan can be, contact NewTek, your business solutions company, today.
Feel a cold coming on? Zicam Cold Remedy Nasal Swabs shorten colds with a snap and reduce symptom severity by 45%. Shorten your cold with a snap with Zicam.
Who can help you undo the damage done by fire or water? Search no further than the experts at ServiceMaster Restore. We help people go from disaster to done. ServiceMaster Restore.
Valentine's Day, huh? You're probably planning to think outside the box. My advice? Don't. Valentine's Day, think inside the box. Make a big impression this Valentine's Day. Introducing the perfectly paired collection from Pro Flowers and Sherry's Berries.
Hello. Hi. How's it going?
All right, how you doing?
Welcome. So, this is the all-new Chevy Traverse. What do you think?
This looks better than 99% of the SUVs out there.
It's very modern, sleek.
Maybe the most impressive part of the all-new Traverse is what's on the inside.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I've missed you guys. I haven't seen you guys in so long.
What's happening?
We flew her out. It's a family car. We had to put your family in it.
Yeah, it gets 7 thumbs up.
New action on Capitol Hill with the Senate now minutes away from meeting ahead of a vote to launch debate on a general immigration bill, which is expected to cover the fate of the so-called Dreamers and border security.
I do think that we can get something done this week. We're going to have something in the Senate that we haven't had in a while. It's real debate on an issue where we really don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel is live on Capitol Hill. Mike, what are expectations heading into this critical week on immigration?
Well, Dana, good afternoon. President Trump told reporters this afternoon there's a good chance of getting this done if Democrats are serious and really want to do it.
I hope the Democrats are not going to use it just as a campaign. You know, they've been talking about DACA for many years, and they haven't produced. We started talking about DACA, and I think we'll produce.
Late last week, a senior Democrat in the Senate also sounded hopeful as well.
A bill on the floor, open to amendment, actual debate? Yes, it's going to happen right here. Stay tuned on C-SPAN. Next week could be historic. It's been over a year and a half since we've had a meaningful debate on the floor, but next week we will. And the topic, immigration and DACA.
And today, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said it won't be easy, but they've got to try. Dana?
I'm pretty excited about it. I want to see how this plays out, but unlike Senator Durbin, I'm going to watch it here on Fox because you can see it here,
Absolutely.
not just C-SPAN. What is the reaction to President Trump's new budget proposal?
Well, House Speaker Paul Ryan is complimentary, telling reporters, quote, this budget lays out a thoughtful, detailed, and responsible blueprint for achieving our shared agenda. It builds on last week's budget agreement by focusing on rebuilding our national defense and promoting a stronger economy. Maryland Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen, a member of the Budget Committee, ripped the budget blueprint, saying, quote, once again, millionaires win under this plan while working families, kids, individuals with disabilities, and seniors are out in the cold. I wish this was a surprise, but it's more the same from this administration. President Trump's budget should be a non-starter for Congress. Congress, of course, loves having the power of the purse, so many lawmakers will take a look at the president's suggestions, but then want to do their work themselves. Dana?
All right, Mike, thank you.
Sure.
President Trump saying the budget is something both parties should stand behind.
But this is a common sense and bipartisan plan that every member of Congress should support. I look forward to working with them, and we're going to get the American people roads that are fixed and bridges that are fixed. And if for any reason they don't want to support it, hey, that's going to be up to them.
We are joined now by Ryan Streeter, the American Enterprise Institute Director of Domestic Policy Studies. Good to have you here. Obviously, a lot of focus on domestic policies in this budget. Two things stand out. The president recommends cut in non-military spending that would lower the federal budget deficit by $3 trillion over 10 years, and then $200 billion in federal funds to spur $1.5 trillion in infrastructure investments over the next 10 years. A very different budget than previous Republican budgets. What do you make of it?
Well, I think the cuts that they're touting are actually just sort of spending increases at a little bit of a lower rate. At the end of the day, this budget still does spike the deficit, raises debt as a percentage of GDP. And it's because we're basically making cuts to discretionary programs, which is an increasingly smaller part of the federal budget. As Paul Ryan made the case for years, we're not going to actually be able to fix the problem of a spiraling federal budget if we don't take entitlement programs seriously, and that's what this budget doesn't do. I think the budget is really just going to be the talking points for the administration going forward this year, because I don't think that Congress will actually take it up and debate it. I think the budget deal that was struck last week that raised the spending caps by $300 billion over the next 2 years, that's the working framework that we're going to be living with for the next couple of years.
So Congressman Rokita of Indiana was on earlier, and he said that he likes the budget. In fact, he said he loved it. And he said that by the president addressing Medicaid, SNAP and TAMF, that will be enough and that you don't need to do really anything on Medicare and Social Security right now. Do you agree with that, just from an economical standpoint, not politically?
Well, I respect the congressman, and he represents my home state, the district I used to live in Indiana. So I like him and I respect him, but I don't agree with what he said. I think that the reality is the entitlement side of our budget, which is the bulwark programs are Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid, are over 50% of the federal budget now. And ordinary Americans can be forgiven for not quite understanding how all this budget stuff works. But the reality is what you can propose in a budget like the president put forward to cut is all the other programs where Congress has discretion about whether to fund them and how much. Mm-hmm. We don't have a choice about these entitlement programs. We are obligated to spend every year in accordance with the law. And so the only way to change the spending is to change the law.
Right, so that part of the pie of things that you want to spend on gets smaller and smaller if you don't deal with the rest.
Smaller and smaller. I mean, yeah, and by making the deficit larger, what we're doing is we're really kicking the can down the road, to use a familiar and overused expression, to our children. I mean, it used to be that when Congress would have debates about how much money to spend, if they were going to raise taxes or cut programs, the people that elected them were essentially bearing that burden. Today, by not dealing with entitlements, we're actually spending money today on ourselves at the expense of our kids and our grandkids. And the AARP is a very powerful lobby in Washington, and Social Security and Medicare are protected in many ways because many members of Congress, understand how the game is played. Medicaid has many advocates as well, but Paul Ryan rose to where he is in his career by really making the case and normalizing what it would look like to put into place sort of common sense reforms that just modernize those programs. And that's just with the budget deal that was struck last week, the GOP has kind of abandoned its role as the watchdog over issues like this. And, the projected deficit because of this budget deal that was done last week is about the same levels as right after the financial crisis in 2009 and 10. And that's during the Tea Party wave. When the deficit got that high, we saw the Tea Party. We're basically at projections at that level now. Yeah, and it seems like the Republicans are not taking seriously the role that they put themselves in.
All right, Ryan Streeter, thanks for your point of view today. So the stock market soaring today as we wait for the White House press briefing to get underway at the top of the hour, plus new video showing the moment a plane crashes plunging into a field of a ball of fire. And Vice President Pence signaling the U.S. could have talks with North Korea after his close encounter with Kim Jong-un's sister at the Olympics. How realistic is this? We'll talk about it.
As we've said for some time, it's really up to the North Koreans to decide when they're ready to engage with us in a sincere way, a meaningful way. They know what has to be on the table.
If you're like thousands of veterans who own a home, you may be thinking about refinancing to get money for your family, but you may not be thinking about a valuable VA benefit veterans like us have earned: the right to apply for a VA home loan for up to 100% of your home's value, not 80% like many other loans. That's an important difference because that can mean a lot more money for you and your family. Money for retirement, unexpected medical bills, home improvements, or just to put in the bank. The New Day 100 VA loan lets you refinance your mortgages, consolidate your credit card debt, get cash, and lower your payments an average of $640 a month. And New Day will even pay for your appraisal. Take advantage of the VA home loan benefit many vets don't even know about. Call New Day USA right now, because no one works harder to help veterans get the financial security we deserve.
Go to newdayusa.com or call 1-844-341-1583.
Remember our special night? Abdominal pain and diarrhea. It's my anniversary. Aw, sorry. We've got other plans.
Your recurring unpredictable abdominal pain and diarrhea may be irritable bowel syndrome with diarrhea, or IBS-D. You've tried over-the-counter treatments and lifestyle changes, but IBS-D can be really frustrating. Talk to your doctor about Viberzi, a different way to treat IBS-D. Viberzi is a prescription medication you take every day that helps proactively manage both abdominal pain and diarrhea at the same time, so you stay ahead of your symptoms. Viberzi can cause new or worsening abdominal pain. Do not take Viberzi if you have no gallbladder, have pancreas or severe liver problems with alcohol abuse, long-lasting or severe constipation, or a bowel or gallbladder blockage. Pancreatitis may occur and can lead to hospitalization and death. If you are taking Viberzi, you should not take medicines that cause constipation. The most common side effects of Vyburzi include constipation, nausea, and abdominal pain. Stay ahead of IBS-D with Vyburzi.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being, and in the good that comes from exercising these rights well. The founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire.
Okay, you missed it. Scroll up. Up, up, up.
Go down.
No, down, down,
Ooh,
down.
I want to watch the one where the guy says, Stella. Hey, Stella!
I wish I could search for it like that.
With Dish, you can. Stop scrolling and just tell the remote.
Here's looking at you, kid.
Wow, that was cool.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. Whoa!
That was awesome.
The new Dish voice remote. Stop scrolling. Just say what you want, and it's on. Dish, tuned into you.
Shepard Smith on the Fox News deck. The White House briefing set to begin in the next hour. We expect questions about the Chief of Staff, John Kelly, and whether his job is really safe. White House officials defending Kelly today and his handling of Rob Porter. This man, the former staff secretary, accused of abusing both of his ex-wives. Porter denies the accusations. I'll speak to a White House reporter who says all of this is overshadowing what could have been a great week for President Trump. That's coming up top of the hour on Shepard Smith Reporting. We'll see you then.
Emergency teams combing the snowy fields outside Moscow, finding data recorders from yesterday's deadly plane crash that killed everyone on board.
We'll get to any kind of negotiations.
Yeah, interesting. And this Ambassador John Bolton, he's former U.S. ambassador to the UN and a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, also a Fox News contributor. So much to get to here. What do you think about this idea of talks about talks? I mean, that certainly would be different, and I wonder if you think that the South Koreans may have boxed us in on this one.
No, I think this is much ado about nothing. I mean, I think it's kind of a throwaway line for the vice president. He wants to show that there's no real difference between us and South Korea, although there is, unfortunately. But it's important to try and preserve the image of unity, and I think we will get back to it. But it would be fruitless to talk to North Korea. It just sounds kind of harsh to say that. But they have talked to us for 25 years, and there's zero evidence that talking in year 26 will make any difference.
Anywhere. What do you think about the placement of Kim Jong-un's sister, just, directly behind Mike Pence at the Olympics? I mean, that was a decision that the South Koreans must have made, right?
Right. It's up to them. It was President Moon's personal box. Some of the symbolism people didn't see is in the first row. It was President Moon and his wife, Vice President Pence and his wife, and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and his wife. So the three allies together there with the U.S. in the center. Look, presidents and vice presidents go through this dance all the time. As you know, you're in a UN context or something where you don't want to talk to somebody, and I thought the vice president did very well.
He certainly did. He had a good poker face. Let me show you some quotes from the media over the weekend about North Korea. And you wrote a piece about it this morning as well. The New York Times writing, without a word, only flashing smiles, Kim Jong-un's sister outflanked Vice President Mike Pence in diplomacy. CNN, Kim Jong-un's sister is stealing the show at the Winter Olympics. A question for you, having North Korea there in any format, were they automatically going to sort of get more media attention and be sort of the darlings of the Olympics when all of the atrocities are forgotten for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's really embarrassing for the media that have written like that. Vladimir Lenin once used the phrase useful idiots to describe people who would actually help the communists take power. And the media just demonstrated they were stenographers for the North Koreans. It was really very pathetic, ignoring the fact that even this kind of visit and the unified team marching together was not unprecedented. It's happened 3 times before. The invitation to an inter-Korean summit happened twice before. None of any of that had any impact on the nuclear ballistic missile programs.
I wanted to get your take on another topic. David Lee Miller is in the Middle East for us, and he was reporting on the recent developments between Israel and Syria. If I could play for you what Bibi Netanyahu said earlier.
I've been warning for some time about the dangers of Iran's military entrenchment in Syria. Iran seeks to use Syrian territory to attack Israel for its professed goal of destroying Israel. Israel holds Iran and its Syrian host responsible for today's aggression. We will continue to do whatever is necessary to protect our sovereignty and our security.
I'm glad you're on the show today because I want to ask you what's really going on. What are we missing here that we're not seeing on the surface?
Well, it is very serious. There's no doubt about it. This is a direct contact between Israel and Iran. We don't know who actually fired the anti-aircraft weapons that brought the Israeli F-16 down. Almost certainly not Syrian, could be Iranian. Maybe there were Russian advisors nearby. We just don't know enough about it. But this is a reflection of now of the Middle East after the fall of the ISIS caliphate. And it's a consequence of the Obama administration strategy, unfortunately continued by the Pentagon in this administration, to rely on Iraq and the Shia militia in Iraq to help go after the caliphate. Because what that meant was Iran was right there with them, followed behind them, and now has created an arc of control from Iran through the Baghdad-controlled parts of Iraq, linking up to the Assad regime in Syria and the Hezbollah terrorist in Lebanon. And this kind of alliance really is threatening to Israel, threatening to our Arab friends like Jordan, Saudi Arabia, the other oil-producing monarchies on the Arabian Peninsula.
Secretary Tillerson is in the region right now. Do you think that he should add anything to his trip to deal with this?
Well, my understanding is he's not going to Israel. I don't quite understand that, but I think this question we've got to face, and it's coming up on us 3 months away now, whether we're going to abrogate the Iran nuclear deal. Remember, one of the consequences we were promised from the deal was that Iran would join the community of civilized nations once they realized the threat that we posed was removed. They haven't rejoined that community. They're making things worse, and this is the way Iran is behaving before they get nuclear weapons.
Right. All right, John Bolton, thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
We are awaiting the White House press briefing as President Trump lays out his infrastructure plan. We will bring you the briefing as soon as it begins. And the big reveal of Barack and Michelle Obama as you've never seen them before. A look at the paintings unveiled today at the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery. Plus a check on the markets as we're live at the New York Stock Exchange.
When our country used to flex its muscle with battleships like the USS Iowa, the world would listen. It's time we return to the America I remember. Hi, I'm William Devane. There are dangerous forces everywhere pulling our country apart, threatening our economy and our way of life. That's why I'm going to do two things: support our military and buy gold from Rosalind Capital. I've never felt safe relying on paper money to protect my assets. That's why I buy gold from Rosalind. With Rosalind, what you order is what you get. No gimmicks, no nonsense, no hassle. We're all safer with our ships patrolling the seas. And my assets are a whole lot safer with gold from Rosalind Capital. So ask yourself, are you safe?
Call now to get your free gold, silver, and IRA kits. Call 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900.
Declassified? Denied. From the political fallout to how it could impact the Russia probe, Jordan Sekulow breaks down every angle of the memo mayhem on the next Fox News at Night.
Hi, I'm Dana Lash from The Dana Show. If you could be more heart healthy just by drinking a glass of delicious superfood, would you do it? Of course you would. There's one superfood I drink every day for healthy circulation and to make me feel great all day long. It's called Super Beets, and you can try it for yourself risk-free. Beets are loaded with an important nutrient that increases your own natural energy and stamina without stimulants. This powerful nutrient is incredible for supporting healthy blood pressure, too. I take Super Beets as my pre-workout in the morning and as a non-jittery pick-me-up in the afternoon.
I drink Super Beets twice a day, and I have this glow. So it really has helped me be who I am.
This allows me to sort of have my cake and eat it too. It allows me to get the energy that I need in a healthy, nutritious way.
I just feel like it's changed my life in the last 6 months because I'm able to do more things that I couldn't do before.
Super Beets is a functional food for circulation that you drink. It's effective and it's convenient. And just 1 teaspoon of Super Beets gives you the benefit of 3 whole beets. And only Super Beets is made from beets grown to exacting standards, then concentrated into superfood crystals using a patented technology.
Give Super Beets a try for
2 weeks. 1 week, just 1 week, and you will see a difference, I promise.
Don't wait another day to start increasing your energy.
During this special TV offer from SuperBeets, with your first order, you'll receive another 30-day supply, absolutely free. Plus our test strips that let you see for yourself how SuperBeets is working for you, and free shipping. Try SuperBeets today. It's guaranteed. You'll love it or your money back. Order your SuperBeets today.
Call 1-800-994-4680 or visit GetSuperBeets.com. That's 1-800-994-4680 or visit GetSuperBeets.com.
The Smithsonian today revealing its official portraits of Barack and Michelle Obama. The former president is depicted sitting in a garden of ivy. The work was done by Yale-trained painter Kehinde Wiley. The official portrait of the former First Lady by Amy Sherald, also revealed this morning. They'll now hang in the Smithsonian's National Portrait Gallery. Wall Street is trading with more confidence this Monday after a very volatile week last week. The Dow posting a triple-digit increase, adding on to its gains from Friday. Nicole Petalides is live at the New York Stock Exchange. Nicole, what is driving the markets today?
I always like to be able to give some good news and some up arrows. We were up 330 on Friday. Today, we're up 457 points now as we speak. What's driving the markets is that nothing really changed fundamentally. We're still doing very well. Corporate earnings are on the rise. The economy is doing better. We're seeing wage growth. So ultimately, everything is doing pretty great. Why did we see this sell-off? And take a look at the last 2 weeks of steep losses. We lost over 2,400 Dow points, down 9%. That was a few reasons. First of all, we had run up over 30% since the election. We've also seen a lot of volatility, rising rates, the concerns about what the budget spending was. And so they took some off the table, but they found support, no doubt. Take a look also that it's not all bad. There are some distinct winners this year. Netflix and Twitter and Snap all up about 30%. And take a look at some of the other notable gainers, looking at Amazon, Boeing, eBay, Kohl's. So you do see plenty of things here that are to the obviously winners, no doubt. Dana?
Okay, but what am I hearing about Disney hiking up prices at the theme parks?
Yeah, we got a little glimpse. Let's take a look at that, because what we saw with Disney is after enjoying 6% increase in attendance, 13% increase in the theme park revenue, guess what? They're hiking them. I know it's a lot for a family heading out there. So they're going up now to $135. You did see the peak prices there. Disneyland and Disney World, $129. That's the new price hikes that we're seeing for Orlando and for California. On a value day, you can get in for just over $100. So those were the peak prices, but the theme park has been obviously an area of strength for Disney, and they continue to hike them up.
Well, they don't call it the happiest place on earth for nothing. All right, Nicole, thank you.
Thanks.
Americans making waves at the Winter Olympics. What this woman did that is a first for an American Olympic skater. Plus an update on Spike, the newest member of the Daily Briefing team. Check him out. We'll have more pictures as Spike gets closer to joining us here in New York City.
Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh ham has no added nitrates, or artificial preservatives. Now Deli Fresh flavors for everyone, like those who like sweet, those who prefer heat, and those who just love meat. Oscar Mayer Deli Fresh, a fresh way to deli.
Hey, Julie, I know today's critical, but I really need a sick day.
Dads don't take sick days. Dads take Dayquil Severe, the non-drowsy, coughing, aching fever, sore throat, stuffy head, no sick days medicine.
Lose weight and save big with Nutrisystem's President's Day sale. For a limited time, save $100 on every program, including new for 2018. Turbo 13, our best program ever. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. Money back guaranteed.
I'm Marie, and I lost 50 pounds with Nutrisystem.
I'm Chris, and I lost 120 pounds on Nutrisystem.
I am so much healthier now.
Order your 28-day program right now, and we'll rush you Turbo 13 with our new Turbo Takeoff Week with new foods. Plus a week of delicious probiotic turbo shakes, all new NutriCurve bars, and metabolism boosters free. Specially designed to rev your metabolism, help shrink your belly, and jumpstart your weight loss. Plus, FedEx shipping is free.
Count, measure, meetings, not with Nutrisystem.
Act now. This is a limited time offer. Save $100 during Nutrisystem's President's Day sale.
Go online or call 877-953-THIN right now and save $100 on every Nutrisystem program.
If you have been diagnosed with lung cancer, you may be entitled to compensation. Even with a history of smoking, you may still qualify. Asbestos trusts have been established, and billions of dollars have been paid to people with lung cancer or mesothelioma. To learn more, contact us now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-950-MESO. For nearly 2 decades, we've been fighting for people with lung cancer and mesothelioma. Call us at 1-800-950-MESO. Lung cancer and mesothelioma. Don't fight it alone.
Hi, I'm Ty Young. What if there was an investment strategy where your money was completely protected against market losses? You would go up with the stock market, your gains lock in, and when the market goes down, you don't lose anything. Literally, you go up with your money, never down, forwards and never backwards. What if that investment strategy actually existed? Good news, it does. Get your investor's kit and I'll personally explain on the DVD how it works. You decide if it's right for you.
Get your investor's kit. Call 800-557-7379 or tyjyoung.net.
Experience Lexus Safety System Plus Standard in the 2018 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid.
Lease the 2018 ES 350 for $339 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Fox News continues to be wherever you are. With brand new apps for Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire, you'll never miss an episode. Live or on your own time. Your favorite shows are always within your reach. Download now and never miss an episode of Fox News Channel.
The 2018 Winter Olympics are underway, and Americans are making history in Pyeongchang. Figure skater Mirai Nagasu, became the first American woman and just the 3rd overall to land a triple axel in Olympic competition during. Meanwhile, Chris Mazur won the silver medal in men's luge, becoming the first American to ever claim an Olympic medal in the event. Mazur silver, one of 4 so far won by U.S. athletes at these games. That ranks in 5th place overall, behind the 9 won by Norwegians and 7 claimed by Germany, Canada, and the Netherlands. Get this, and the good news is we are 1 week closer to meeting Spike, the assistance puppy that our executive producer is raising for Canine Companions for Independence. Look at these cute little guys. Spike and his brothers and 2 sisters are 2 weeks old today. Here he is with his siblings. Not sure which one he is. In case you missed the segment last week, our EP, Jennifer Williams, is raising an assistance dog for CCI. Each puppy wears a different colored collar to tell them apart, but it's not pink for girls or blue for boys. We do not yet we don't know yet which one of these is going to be Spike. He will be coming to New York in just a few weeks, and we will keep you updated on his progress. I can't wait to meet him and to introduce him to all of you. So, busy day, getting ready for a busy week. Infrastructure Week finally here. Make sure you stick around for the White House briefing. It's coming up at the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Dana Perino. Here now, Shep Smith.
A live look now, and there it is. That's the White House briefing room. The briefing was to have begun at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time this afternoon. Then they changed that to 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time this afternoon, and now they've changed that. 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, the briefing will happen, and we'll bring it to you live on Fox News Channel. I'm Shepard Smith in New York, and this is Shepard Smith reporting. We're expecting questions about how the White House handled domestic abuse accusations against the former senior aide Rob Porter. President Trump tweeted over the weekend, people's lives are being shattered and destroyed by a mere allegation. Some are true and some are false. Some are old, some are new. There is no recovery for someone falsely accused. Life and career are gone. Is there no such thing any longer as due process? That was from the president without context. Today, the White House told Fox News Channel it has zero tolerance for domestic violence.
The president deplores, it thinks that domestic violence is grotesque. He said that on multiple occasions, and there's no place for it in this country. There's no place for it in this White House, and the president won't stand for it.
Hogan Gidley at the White House today. The White House also says President Trump has full confidence in the Chief of Staff, John Kelly. He's faced criticism for how he handled the accusations, among other things. When the news broke, John Kelly called Porter a man of true integrity and honor. That was a quote. And said he was proud to serve alongside him. Chief of Staff Kelly later said he was shocked by the accusations and Porter resigned. The White House says the turning point was when Kelly saw the photos of Porter's first wife with a black eye. She claims Porter punched her in the face during an argument back in 2005. Porter denies all the accusations, calling them outrageous. Keep in mind, the White House has known about this since November. They've known about it because the two former wives went to the FBI and told them. Then the FBI came to the White House and told the White House. Further, he was not able to get security clearance and still does not have it now that he's gone. The chief White House correspondent, John Roberts, is live at the White House. John?
Shep, good afternoon to you. And the timeline for all of this now coming into somewhat clearer focus, that there's still a lot of fuzz around the edges here that we'll try to get some more answers on coming up in the briefing. As you pointed out, White House officials, including the White House counsel, knew at least back to November that something was going on here with Rob Porter, because he, according to White House sources, told the White House counsel that his two ex-wives had been talking to the FBI, and it was a long time ago they talked to the FBI, and had been making allegations against him. This was in interviews for his security clearance, which, as you pointed out, he never got. Sources say that Porter had downplayed those allegations, though, and it wasn't until last Wednesday when these photos of Porter's first wife, Colby Holderness, with a black eye surfaced, that the White House really learned the full extent of what his ex-wives say happened. Now, around the same time that McGahn learned of the allegations, this would have been in November, the woman that Porter was dating at the time called McGahn to say that Porter was being abusive to her, and there are other problems as well that she was concerned about. That woman had actually had a conversation with Porter's first wife in January of last year, in which Colby Holderness told her of the black eye, yet that woman continued to date Porter. Friends of hers tell Fox News that because she also worked in the administration, she was afraid that she would lose her job if she broke up with Porter. Now, the president, as you pointed out, Shep, offered a measure of support to Porter over the weekend in that tweet. Also on Friday, when he was talking to reporters, the president reminded people that Porter continues to insist that he is innocent of all of this. But the White House reaction this morning was that the president believed what the two women were saying. Listen here.
I think that the president, like all of us, were saddened and surprised by the revelations that came forward last week. Rob was a friend to many of us. He did a great job here inside the building. But we can have zero tolerance for domestic abuse and violence against women. And I think the president, in my conversation with him, has been very clear about that as well.
Now, here's the piece in all of this that's missing, Shep. Colby Holderness, his first ex-wife, spoke with the FBI on January 25th of last year. That's more than a year ago. And Jenny Willoughby, his second wife, also spoke to the FBI. The FBI has known that there was material out there that could have been used as potential blackmail against Porter. And I'm told by people who worked in previous administrations that at some point a long time ago, and we're probably talking end of February, beginning of March of last year, somebody from the FBI should have come, if this was operating as other White Houses have, to the White House, to the counsel's office rather, or maybe to the chief of staff and said, just want to let you know, there are things in this person's file which would prohibit that person from getting a permanent security clearance. So you might want to do something about that. And that in most administrations, because that person wasn't going to get a security clearance, they would have been let go back then. But either that didn't happen, Shep, or it happened, and people here aren't saying that it happened. Shep?
How is it possible that the person who reads everything that goes to the President of the United States desk, everything, how is it possible that that person does that while it doesn't have a security clearance? That makes no sense.
He had an interim security clearance, and most interim security clearances don't last that long. This one lasted a particularly long time because the White House insists that a security clearance investigation was ongoing. But again, Shep, I'm told by people who were in past administrations like this never would have passed muster for a security clearance, and that would have been made clear to the White House in a normal operating situation a long, long time ago, probably within a month or two.
Are you saying that this is on the FBI, that the FBI didn't make it clear?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the White House is telling us that they didn't hear anything from the FBI. Now, whether they did and they're not telling us about it, that's a question that we'll ask this afternoon.
I look forward to that. President Trump unveiling his budget proposal and a plan to fix what he calls our country's crumbling roads and bridges. Listen. Oops.
We're going to get the roads in great shape. And very important, we're going to make our infrastructure modernized, and we're really way behind schedule. We're way behind other countries. We always led the way for many, many years. Then a number of decades ago, it slowed down, and over the last 8 years and 15 years, to be honest, it's come to a halt. This morning, I submitted legislative principles to Congress that will spur the biggest and boldest infrastructure investment in American history.
Legislative principles that will spur. Did you hear that? Democrats are slamming the plan, saying that lots of Americans could end up paying for it in higher tolls and local taxes, because the federal government's not paying for this. The president says we'll use $200 billion in federal money. We can do that.
You're not going to build. And some of you are sitting around the table that I know, some of the governors, you're going to get those permits, I have no doubt. Others, I see a couple sitting around the table. I don't think they're going to get their permit so fast. But you're going to have to get it, otherwise you're not going to be able to build. Because we can't give you money and you're going to take 15 years to get a permit. In one state, it took 17 years for a basic roadway to get a permit.
So the president is saying if you can't get the permits quickly, there's no sense in going through this infrastructure plan, and the federal government's not going to hand you billions of dollars and then have you sit around and wait for the permits. A couple of other things in the budget that it's interesting to note, Shep. The budget for fiscal year 18 into 2019 continues to fund the Office of the Special Counsel. That's Robert Mueller's office, to the tune of $535,095. The White House, of course, has been talking about the special counsel wrapping up its investigation soon. That would be the Trump part of the investigation, but clearly they've got some court cases they have to go through. So the Office of Special Counsel will continue to need the money. And here's something that was buried deep in the budget, Shep. The president wants to set aside $2.2 billion to build a brand spanking new, shiny and secure building for the FBI. You can't make this stuff up, Shep.
Wow. John Roberts on the North Lawn. John, we'll see you back in a few minutes when the briefing begins, and it will. Back to the fallout from Rob Porter accusations. He's the one who's accused of beating his two previous wives, by his two previous wives who've spoken often and who spoke to the FBI. With the FBI, the White House has known about this at least since November, if not before. Let's bring in Jordan Fabian, White House correspondent for The Hill. Jordan, there seems to be a pattern here observed by the New York Times this morning and others, which, I mean, they just observed it, that the president seems to take up for the guy in these things. I mean, there's Roy Moore, there's this, a couple of them around this building. There's a pattern.
Yeah, and that's something that's clearly angered some folks in the Me Too movement, this burgeoning movement of women that's spoken up against allegations of abuse ever since the end of last year. And it's something, frankly, the Democrats think they can seize upon in the midterm elections. They think it could be a motivating issue for women, not necessarily this Porter incident in isolation, but like you said, taken together with the other incidents. It's something that they could use to get women motivated to go to the polls in November and elect Democrats to office.
Were you ever something other than a political reporter? Did you ever cover another beat for someone?
Back in college, I covered some construction issues.
Right. I covered a crime beat back in the day in Fort Myers when I worked at the NBC station there. And one thing you learned while covering the crime beat is timeline. And one of the things that you could kind of count on as a reporter, if you could get that timeline nailed down by the principals, the people involved in the case itself, if you got the timeline made exact sense, it all fit together in a nice puzzle, they were usually telling you that because the timeline worked just fine for them. You can't get the timeline from people when the timeline doesn't work for you. When the timeline doesn't work, you give fuzzy. Give a little here and a little there. You really never know what they're talking about. In this case, on timeline, we got nothing but fuzzy, which makes me wonder.
Yeah, that's right. There's been conflicting versions of the Rob Porter's exit from the White House ever since last week, and we really haven't gotten a lot of clarity ever since then. And I think the biggest question is, what is President Trump's feeling about all of this? Because in public, he's defended Rob Porter and defended men who've been accused of abuse by women. But in private, there are reports out there saying the president was disgusted by these allegations and was unhappy with Rob Porter's behavior. But the president has not come out and said that publicly. So I think all of us are looking for some clarity on what does the president actually think about this and what did he do about it once he learned about it?
If they didn't know, they could come out and explain, we didn't know, here's why. When we knew, i.e. when we got the picture last week, that's when we did this. We did not know. We would not have had a man being the last one to hold the papers before the president sees it. We wouldn't have had a man that close to the president who could not get a clearance. We wouldn't have him there if we'd known, well, it looks like he beat his last two wives. We wouldn't have had that. And we certainly wouldn't have, if it's the case, had Hope Hicks, who he was now dating, be involved in the writing of the explanation of whatever just happened. It's a mishmash of squishy right now, and it's my hope that you reporters, and I know you'll try, will get a timeline from them today, because that timeline's going to matter. It always does.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I would note also in these situations when there's sort of been a circular firing squad here at the White House when something goes wrong, the tendency is to blame others or to blame the media or somebody else for what's going on. But there's rarely anybody who's stepped forward and taken responsibility for making mistakes. I think the closest we got was last Thursday when the spokesman came up here to the briefing room and said we all could have done a lot better. And I think that feeling is probably shared among a lot of people here.
Here would be a good thing to know. When John Kelly said Rob Porter is a man of true integrity and honor, and I can't say enough good things about him, did he know then from the FBI what we are led to believe the White House knew? That's what I guess we'll find out today at the briefing, maybe. Hey, it's great to see you. Thank you.
You too.
Coming up, we're going to get to the White House for the briefing and the Dow. Have you seen the Dow? Have you seen the Dow? The Dow's up 450. 550. Hang on.
The time to invest in silver is now. Silver prices are already undervalued. With mine production expected to fall, silver is poised to skyrocket in the coming years. Are you ready to take advantage of this opportunity? Silver is a natural hedge against inflation and can help counteract painful market corrections. The potential to profit from silver in both good times and bad makes it a superior investment to own both inside and outside of an IRA. To learn how you can protect your financial future with silver, call Augusta Precious Metals today and request your free guide, 6 Secrets of Silver Investing, and discover how you can get up to $2,000 in silver free. Act now, and you'll also receive Augusta's Guide to Silver IRAs. Call 866-400-3200 today to receive your free guides from Augusta Precious Metals, where gold and silver have been the family business for more than 40 years. Call Augusta now.
We took legendary and made it liberating. We took safe and made it daring. We took intelligent and made it utterly irresistible. We took the most advanced E-Class ever and made the most exciting E-Class ever. The 2018 E-Class Coupe and Sedan. Lease the E300 sedan for $569 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Is your name really Oscar La Vista? Oscar La Vista, baby!
Getting judged on your name is tough. At Overstock, our name makes people think we sell overstock goods, but it's really beautiful new furniture and home decor, all at Overstock prices.
Your brain changes as you get older, but Prevagen helps your brain with an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember.
At Safe Flight Auto Glass, we know that when you're spending time with the grandkids, every minute counts. And you don't have time for a cracked windshield. That's why we show you exactly when we'll be there, saving you time so you can keep saving the world.
You can't predict the market, but through good times and bad, at T. Rowe Price, we've helped our investors stay confident for over 80 years. Call us or your advisor. T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence.
Breaking news coming. Here's the White House, and that's the briefing room, and soon enough it will begin. The daily briefing will begin, and there we go. That is in the Senate, where lawmakers are turning their attention to immigration, we're told. They're set to vote in a couple of hours to start the debate. One of the big questions, what happens to the Dreamers? Those, as you should know by now, as I'm sure you do, are the hundreds of thousands of immigrants whose parents brought them to the United States as children without documents. In September, President Trump ended the program. Remember, the reason there is no protection for Dreamers is because the program that protected them was ended by Trump. President Trump ended the program that protected them. So now we're looking for something new to protect them. That's what both sides are saying they want to do, protect them. And the Dreamers from deportation gave them Congress 6 months to replace what the president did away with. That deadline, if you will, is now just 3 weeks away, though the deadline is not a really hard deadline. Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel is live up on Capitol Hill. Hey, Mike.
Well, Shep, good afternoon to you. It's interesting that on the day that the Senate is launching this immigration push,
push that the top two leaders of the two parties were in the majority leader's hometown, Louisville, Kentucky, sounding like they are ready to go.
At every critical moment in this country, we've come together to do what needed to be done to move the ball down the field.
The Senate Democratic leader noted this will be a challenge.
It won't be easy, but we're all going to try because of the gravity of the issues at stake, and because we know that this week will be a test of whether the Senate can steer the ship of state through the stormiest of waters. Now, I believe it can.
Perhaps feeling a little more upbeat after the two were able to agree on a bipartisan deal to set spending levels for the next 2 years. Shep?
Well, the House is quite a different thing, though, right?
No question about that. The politics on the House side are quite different. A lot of House conservatives are pushing for a deal by Judiciary Chairman Bob Goodlatte, which is heavy on enforcement and would allow Dreamers to apply for 3-year permits to live and work here.
I say find an accommodation for them, but no amnesty. We cannot have individuals get in the queue in front of individuals that have been legally working through this process for years. I know families that have spent every dollar they've made, every dollar they've saved, and 10 years trying to get their citizenship through the legal process.
A California Democrat says her side blew it last week.
It was a real mistake that we didn't use the leverage we had in the last spending bill. We have a couple opportunities coming up, maybe one, and I think we need to continue to use that. And Congress needs to stay there until we get this done.
First things first, the Senate gets it started tonight. Shep?
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. We'll have much more on the immigration debate in just a few minutes, speaking with a journalist who says it'll be a tall order to get something done that will have the approval of the Senate and the House and the President. Plus, the White House briefing set to begin in just 10 minutes. We'll take you there live when it starts on Fox News Channel.
Life happens everywhere. Like it never even happened, only happens here. The cleanup and restoration specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and servpro.com.
This is the story of Green Mountain Coffee Roasters Dark Magic, told in the time it takes to brew your cup. First, we head to Vermont and go to our coffee shop and meet Dave.
Hey.
Why is Dark Magic so spellbindingly good, he asks? Let me show you.
Let's go.
So we climb, hike, see a bear. Whoa. Reach the top. Dave says Dark Magic is a bold blend of coffee with rich flavors of Uganda, Sumatra, Colombia, and other parts of South America. Like these mountains, each amazing on their own, but together, magical. All for a smoother tasting cup of coffee. Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, packed with goodness.
With constant cybersecurity threats, Americans need to take responsibility and protect themselves from identity theft.
That's why Experian monitors the dark web globally and alerts you to suspicious activity, so you can act before a criminal can. Go to Experian.com/protect now to see if your personal information is on the dark web with a free one-time dark web scan.
Every American needs protection from the dark web. Protect yourself and your family now.
It's what stands between the world and your eyes. A protective layer thinner than a human hair that keeps moisture in. This lipid layer can break down and cause dry eyes. That's why there's Soothe XP from the eye care experts at Bausch & Lomb. Only Soothe XP contains Restoral mineral oils. Soothe XP helps restore this layer, seal in moisture, and protect against further irritation. Ordinary drops can't do that.
Soothe XP works for my dry eyes.
Soothe XP, extra protection for dry eyes.
The Democrats, their memo, and Trump's decision, inside his refusal to release it, and the critical next steps. Get the smart expert insight you need tonight in our powerful lineup.
Just because you're cooking at home doesn't mean you can't travel the globe. Playdate is the meal kit for people who love food. So you can explore the world without ever leaving your kitchen. Our diverse menus include 20 globally inspired chef-designed recipes and 2 delicious desserts every week. And our flexible plans fit every table and schedule. Get everything you need to make amazing dinners in one completely customized box. From pre-portioned, high-quality ingredients to easy-to-follow recipe cards, so you can create home-cooked meals that will impress your entire family. Let Plated be your passport to unforgettable dinners every week.
Get 25% off your first 4 weeks at plated.com/25x4.
24 minutes past the hour now, and that is that briefing room again. 3:30 now is the scheduled time. 6 minutes from now, we shall see. While we wait, let's get more on the immigration debate in the Senate. Nicholas Johnston is editor-in-chief at Axios and live with us, looks like, from their place. Good to see you. Thanks.
Hello. How are you?
Is this going anywhere, or is there really a path, or is all of this just chatter?
I think it's going to start out being just chatter. You had Chuck Schumer on just a couple of minutes ago. I think his read of this was right. It's going to be difficult. It won't be easy to get this through. Remember, the only agreement they have right now is an agreement to begin to talk about it. So it will be a pretty remarkable scene in the Senate, something we haven't seen recently, about a full and open debate, all sorts of being amendments and proposals being
I was talking about that to someone today. We really haven't seen it since long back before Mitch McConnell, since they started being the no people in the last administration. We haven't seen any of this. They haven't opened up regular order, full debate. It's coming, right?
Right. It's going to happen on this. We're going to see a lot of it. That doesn't mean they're necessarily going to get anything done. In fact, one of the times I remember last time they had full and open debate like this was when they did immigration during the Bush administration. And that ended all for naught because it's so difficult to get all these different factions to agree, to get 60 votes in the Senate, to get something that'll pass the House with their conservative side on immigration, then, of course, have the president's approval. The proposals that we're first hearing about now, the one that's going to get through all this doesn't exist yet.
So, Nicholas, isn't it true that what they do get out of this is if they want to, they can stand up there at that podium, get read into the congressional record, whatever each individual one wants, whatever each individual one thinks his or her constituents want to hear, and then in the end they get nothing and they go, I sure tried hard.
If I was going to be a pessimistic person, that's exactly how I see this playing out. A lot of people on both sides of the debate putting up proposals that makes it difficult for the other side to vote for, a lot of votes that can be used during the midterm elections coming up, and at the end of the day, no solution, or maybe it's a temporary thing that kicks it into 2019.
Are we convinced that everybody really wants an immigration solution? That all sides here are being honest about that?
I'm convinced that everybody wants a solution, but how they view solution is so different. $25 billion for border security is what President Trump wants a solution. That's not something Chuck Schumer wants as a solution. So it's very difficult to figure out where the overlap is in making an agreement. 60 votes in the Senate, 218 in the House, and a president's signature.
It's interesting because the research shows that the biggest problem is in the ports of call.
Right.
But there's not, I haven't heard anything about what to do about that. And then the way most of them get here is, it's weird. They buy an airline ticket and then don't go home.
Right, visa overstays. That's a much more difficult thing to message, though. Remember what the president ran on. He ran on the wall. The wall is very compelling message you can put on campaign ads. You can run for re-election on the wall. It's much more difficult to run for election on visa overstays. So look for a lot of political messaging in this debate.
But one of those is a problem.